right. So we are on the last secret to our 7 secrets to cracking the sales code. And I don't know about y'all, but I learned a ton from this book, and I'm excited for just the notes that we have. They've been filed on Team Extreme website under the training section, so you can go and review these or share these with new partners who you bring onto your team. But for me personally, I learned a lot, and today I'm excited about just sharing with you what I learned today. So let's go back over and review those 7 secrets to cracking the sales code. Number 1, we talked about focusing on the customer, not yourself. I wish I had $100 for every time I talk to someone when I'm sharing the business, wanting them to join me. I wish I had $100 for every time they said, oh, I wouldn't want anyone thinking I'm trying to sell them anything. Or I don't want people run away. And that right there is probably why the number 1 secret and thing to learn is to focus on the other person, not ourselves. Because I think we all have that tendency to focus inwardly when, I don't know who it was that I heard say this once, people are not thinking about you. They're too busy thinking about themselves. And that is so true. So don't worry about what people are thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves. Number 2, the number 2 secret was focus on helping, not selling, making that mental shift. That if I keep thinking, oh my goodness, I wonder if they think I'm selling them something, I got to get my mind set in another place. Because truly what we're doing is helping people. And when I think about it, when I break it down, how much we make off of each individual customer, it's not enough to have that guilt of, oh my goodness, I'm selling them something. The value, which is what this whole book is about, the value that I'm bringing to the table is well beyond the little bit each customer pays us. So really make that mind shift. I love, and I keep going back to this, but I love Brenda Proctor saying, we are the plus in the Juice Plus. I loved how she said, she tells people, I'm the plus in the Juice Plus. I'm here to help you. I'm here to lock arms with you. I'm here to go on this journey with you. And so focus on helping. That's truly what we're doing. Number 3, be aware of nonverbal communication. Boy, if we just tune into that, and there's a list of nonverbal behaviors that will signal what someone's thinking, that has been filed on our Team Extreme website. So go print that out, have that handy. That will be worth its weight in gold to you in regard to just really learning how people communicate nonverbally and what they're saying to us. Number 4, use questions to influence behavior. And I loved, if you remember, we talked about starting with that yes, no question, because what it's doing, it's kind of putting them, it wakes them up. And what it does is it forces them to make a decision. Do I really do what I need to do to be healthy? Or do I not really care about my health? Once you have that yes or no question that we talked about, then you can start into those deeper questions. But that first initial yes or no question is, that was something I had never heard before. I'd actually heard the opposite, but the way they described it was awesome. And it taught me really how to do that, and I want to even get better at it. Number 5, tell stories that create a picture. When we talk in stories, Jesus talked in parables. If we follow what he does, he's the best salesman that ever was. If we do the same, and we not only do we talk in stories, but we create a visual in their mind as we talk, that's gonna increase the chances of them making that great decision in either joining us in this business or adding Juice Plus to their life. Number 6, the last we were together, we talked about creating comfort and removing anxiety. Anytime you're buying something, it's going to create anxiety. So the best thing we can do for the best possible outcome is to create a safe place for that person. Make them feel comfortable, sometimes even taking it away from them. You know what? I can see you're struggling right now. I want to help you. Whatever it is that's causing you pause in making this decision, I'd love to know what it is so I can help you. But let me just say right now, let's just take you buying Juice Plus today off the table. Well, sometimes what does that do? What did you just feel when I said that? Did you kind of feel like your shoulders kind of went, oh, okay. All right, there's no pressure. And what's coming across then is authenticity and that we care and that we're not trying to sell. What we want is a customer for life. We want to lock arms with that person. And so if we can remove that anxiety, bring about comfort. Usually what happens, what I will get back when I am really conscious about doing that and pick up on anxiety is, no. Okay, I'm ready. No, I want to go ahead and get it going today. But what was it? It was taking that pressure off of them. So creating that comfort and removing anxiety. And then today, which I'm excited about today, is speak to the value instead of the price. We always want to be upfront with people, give them a price, but our whole conversation, instead of it being around the price, needs to be about the value that we bring. And so secret number 7, switch from price to value. And so the first thing he talks about in this book is more than numbers. Now, we don't have a say in what the price of Juice Plus is, but he gave some incredible statistics that when you sell something, if you end it in a 9, like something's on sale for $599 or $50.99, the increase in that sale was unbelievable. So here's what, although we don't have control over that in our business, what we do have control over is being able to talk about the price and the cost of Juice Plus. We're not trying to sell an automobile here, a house here. This is a low ticket item. And so talking price to people is okay. And we need to do that and don't shy away from it. Usually I wait till that topic kind of comes up, but I do not shy away from it. And I make sure they know what the price of Juice Plus is. But here's the thing is I like talking about not just saying, $105 a month this is an illustration of a quad, but going into, sometimes we talk about $350, which is a day, which is less than a cup of coffee, which is also a great thing to share. But I personally don't spend $3.50 a day on coffee. That's a treat for me. I have to say that I like to fall into that middle realm there, is that you could do the I want it all package, the quad, for $25 a week. And then I talk about, and this goes back to point number 2 is I tell them a story. I remember when we got started on Juice Plus, my husband, I had just quit my job and we'd lost 50% of our income. So for me, I had every single dollar of my husband's income already allocated to where it needs to be. I'm a financial planner. I can tell you everything we spent over the last 30 years. And so when I say I tracked every dollar, I did. And so I just said what I did was start looking at my grocery bill. And I literally did this. Back then, all we had was the Duo. So it was like $10 that I had to find. And so that's a story that I'm telling, wrapping around the whole numbers piece to giving them, here's what I did and it worked well for us. Because I found I can find $25 worth of junk in our grocery bill that I can throw out. Even if it's not even that bad junk, it's stuff that I don't need to be buying. I drink LaCroix all the time. And you know what? If all I did was simply remove my LaCroix habit, which it's not a bad habit, it's just bubbly water, but it's expensive to be drinking it every day. Right there could be my Juice Plus budget. So, when you're talking to them, talk about the numbers, but wrap a story around those numbers. And the second point he goes into, we talked about how powerful a story is, but when we want to wrap it around, since today's topic is on price, when we wrap it around price, it just really helps deliver the information, but in a way that makes sense to them, a way that they're seeing me say, okay, I'm okay with spending that money because I figured out how I was going to do it and how I was going to do it in the budget. Then number 3, he talked about throw out an anchor. And I love this idea. So he said, if you're going to sell a $300 watch, he said you'd put it next to maybe a $1,000 watch and then talk about all the benefits of the $300 watch and how similar it was to the $1,000 watch. And I thought, I've never thought of it that way, but throwing an anchor, meaning here's your anchor, here's what we're going to compare Juice Plus to, and any way we want to go with it. And as I was thinking about what he was talking about with that watch and comparing a $300 watch and what you get for this, and the $1,000 watch next to it, that to me, what came to mind was, I think it was Mitra Ray that talked about making the statement, we all are going to spend healthcare dollars. Some people are going to wait and spend those healthcare dollars in the last 3 months of their life to prolong their life, maybe by a month. What if you took those healthcare dollars that we're all allotted to? Statistics show we all will spend X amount of dollars in healthcare. I need to go find out what that number is. What if we took that number and we utilized it throughout our life? What kind of sickness, disease would we avoid? And as I heard Dr. Mitra Ray say, in America, we live short and die long. But in the East, you live long and die short. Why is that? Because you got a doctor before you got sick. You get a doctor in the East, the Eastern Hemisphere, and they worked with you to help you stay healthy. Versus in America, we wait till we're on death's door. We go to the hospital and expect them to fix us. So what if that's our anchor when we're talking about Juice Plus and price? What if that's been our choice? I always say, I can't wait to get to heaven and sit down with the Lord and say, sorry, I'm going to get preaching. My dad's a Baptist minister. But to say, okay, go ahead and tell me, who avoided a sickness, a disease, an illness? How much longer did my customers live? What about my family? Wouldn't that be a cool thing to find out? I'm going to find that out. But it's back to utilizing those healthcare dollars during our lifetime. How much more energy do we have? Just the mindset alone that I'm doing everything I know to do to stay healthy and well. And Juice Plus is the core around my health prevention program. So throw out that anchor with people. Okay, number 4, and this is where I got so excited when I was reading this. The 4th thing he talked about was it happens in threes. And he went, and this is what I wanted to show you guys, and then I should have thought of it earlier. I wanted to throw up a picture of this. So he talked about the difference when we not just giving people 2 options, but you don't want to give them 8. He just said the magic number is 3 options. One is just like kids, what if you want them to wear a certain outfit, but they're not, they want to pitch a fit about it, lay out a couple outfits, 2 or 3 outfits, and it makes things smoother. They have a choice. Everybody loves to have a choice. So that's where he was saying it happens in threes. And he went on just to say he went through, Goldilocks had three bears, the three Rice Krispie snaps, Crackle, Snap, and Pop, the Three Stooges, when you get a medal, what do you get? Gold, silver, or bronze. And then he just listed all these things that come in threes. So he said, when you're talking about price, think of it in a way of threes. So he gives an illustration, and here's why, because he said what you've done is turned, and this is to me the cost of admission to this call, this right here. He said, what you've turned it from, not whether or not if I'm going to buy Juice Plus or not, but which bundle am I going to buy? Think about that. So you're shifting their mindset from whether or not they want to buy Juice Plus to which one of the bundles do I want to buy? Then he went and he gave an example. So he said there was A, B, and C. So here's the three. An economist.com website subscription. So think about this. If you got a pencil and paper, write this down. So you've got an economist.com website subscription for $59.99 a year. Then option number B, you could get a print subscription only for $125. Or number three, you could get the print and the web subscription for $125. So you can get the web subscription for $59.99. You can get the print subscription only for $125, or the print and web subscription for $125. Now, which of those three are you going to buy? How many of you instantly went to the print plus the web? Option C. So what happened by having three? Because you're like, well, why would I pay $125 just for the print subscription when I can get the print subscription and the web subscription for the same price? What happened to option A? It just went out the window, because suddenly, what was it? You wanted to pick the most value for your dollars. Let me read this to you. So 16 students out of 100, 16 students chose option A. Out of 100, only 16 chose option A. A whopping 84 chose option C, and nobody chose option B. Now, I want you to listen to this again. So somebody said, why would you even have option B if nobody even chose it? Why would you even have it? And it really doesn't make sense when you look at it. And now what they did was take two options. They only took option A and option C. They threw out option B. So they had web subscription for $59.99, and then the web subscription plus the print subscription for $125. Guess what happened? Same thing, asked 100 college students. This time, only 32 people chose option C, and 68% chose the cheaper option, option A. That is amazing. That right there is the power of three. Because what happened when you went with two, you just went with the cheaper or the more expensive version. But when you had all three, you're looking for the value. And as I read that, all I could think about was our new bundles that just came out. How are we presenting? So in my mind, I use all the new bundles almost as a default. I would always, I don't know if default's the right word. Here, let me say, so if I'm doing A, B, or C, A would be the duo. B, I think I would put in as a trio, and C, the quad. Now, maybe there's another way of going about this, but so I'm anxious to hear y'all's thoughts. But the way I think by doing that, I would just say, this is what it would take. The duo is what it will take to be able to get your child for free. But all of our research has been done on the trio. And so then I go into a conversation about the value of adding the berry blend. And why the berry blend is so valuable is it allows all those nutrients to flow throughout your endothelia. And I just remember hearing a doctor once say, the berry blend helps deliver all the nutrients to your body. And I also remember Dr. Bill Sears many years ago when he did a video series and he talked about the nine, I think this may have been the 9 simple steps. One of them being the value of our body's ability to create its own pharmacy. And in the video, he talked about the value of the berry blend clearing out the endothelia, and he had a video of all the nutrients flowing through our body. So that's why the berry blend is crucial to make sure you add it. Not to mention, the number one killer in America is cardiovascular health. And that berry blend is so powerful when it comes to cardiovascular health, diabetes, circulation. So I really camp out on that. And then you could say, but if you're like me, like my husband always wants, the I want it all package, now we have just been gifted with our incredible omegas. And then I start talking about what the omegas had done for me. And then I would share this visual. I love this visual so people can see the prices from a monthly standpoint, a daily standpoint. I kind of want to redo this myself and add the weekly. But I think this is a beautiful picture. It shows all of our prices. I think it helps. A lot of times, I don't know if you guys are like I've seen a lot in the past, when you get a brand new partner, sometimes they will sell Juice Plus to someone and there's a confusion about how much it is per month versus over the cost over 4 months. Some people miss that it's reoccurring for 4 months. So anyway, I just thought that power of 3, and maybe we can hash this out and think through it a little bit better, but I feel like giving them those 3 options, what you're doing is moving that mental shift from if I'm going to buy Juice Plus to which bundle am I going to buy? And I just thought that was gold, and I'd never thought of it that way before. And then lastly is kind of what I was just showed the picture, show the price, but don't just say it costs XYZ. Instead, make it interactive. Have you thought about, what is your budget in regard to your healthcare and prevention? Have you thought about it? Because they most likely are already taking something, and hear what they're taking and process with them. Do you need this? Do I need that? Anybody ever have anyone start off? They start listing all the things they're taking. And in reality, once you start eliminating, like I would take that till you run out. That's always my thing. Finish that off. But once you finish it off, your Juice Plus should be kicked in by then. Takes about 4 months to get your Juice Plus in your system. As you transition off that, Juice Plus will be in your system and can take over from there. And so what you're doing is helping them see you're already probably spending, $50 a month at a minimum, if not more. And then going back to, our training when we talked about future pacing, what do you think adding 30, 40 raw fruits and vegetables to your diet every single day, what do you think that's going to do for your body? Switching from an isolated supplement to whole food nutrition pumping through your veins every day. And I talk about my husband, one day I started getting all these calls from these people wanting Juice Plus. I'm like, where are these people coming from? And they just kept referring back to Scott. And I I called Scott. I'm like, what are you doing? I've gotten like 5 customers today. He said, well, he said, I walked by. My husband works at Chick-fil-A. He's a consultant. So he visited this store and he said, I walked by this table of about 10 women and he goes, they were all talking about health and nutrition. So he said, I literally pulled up my sleeve. He goes, in the middle of the table, I laid my hand down and he said, y'all put your hand up against my hand. And he goes, my hand looked, you know what that Juice Plus carotenoid hand looks like, where your hand's got that yellow orangish glow. And he said, everybody started putting these lily white hands down next to him because it was so evident, the difference. And he said, that right there is a hand that has 30 raw fruits and vegetables pumping through my veins every day. That's what y'all need if you want to get healthy. And he said, then I just threw your card on the table. He had my business card. So there's a little verbiage when, helping people visually painting a picture for making that move from isolated, dead ingredients, not even ingredients really, to whole food nutrition that literally changes the look of your skin. I don't know about y'all, but one of the first things I had people saying, maybe I've been on Juice Plus 3 or 4 weeks, literally look me in the face and say, what are you doing different? You look different. Your face is glowing. And I'm not the only one. I hear that a lot from new customers. So that gives you a little bit of verbiage back to don't shy away from the price, but when we are talking about the price, make it interactive. Make it sound like, not make it sound like, show them that you care. Show them the value in the price they're going to be paying. If we can show them how much more valuable Juice Plus is to some man-made supplement, then it's going to make sense to them. And that's our goal, is making sense. All right, I'm going to stop for a minute. And Brenda, if you want, you can stop the recording